All right. So have you ever, like, I don't know, been talking to your dog and you notice how they react, you know, like so differently when you're talking to them versus like if you were talking to a friend in, say, French or something? It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's all about how dogs can actually like potentially recognize different languages, which is, that's pretty amazing right there.
It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
It really is.
So what exactly did this research, like what did they do? Did they like just like watch dogs?
Oh, they
See how they
did.
react?
No, they took it a step further and actually used MRI scans.
Whoa. So they're like literally,
Like looking inside their
they were looking inside their brains to see what's happening when they hear different languages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they found that dogs' brains actually show different activity patterns depending on whether they're hearing a familiar language, like the one their owner speaks.
Right. Or an unfamiliar one.
Okay, so that's like really interesting because it means that their brains are actually like categorizing it, right? Like they're not just hearing sounds, they're hearing like, oh, this is
Right.
English or this is, Spanish or something.
Exactly. And there's like two parts of the brain involved. You've got the kind of the primary auditory cortex. That's the first part. And that's just responsible for basically detecting whether a sound is speech or not.
Right.
So it's just figuring out, is this talking or is this music or is this, a car horn?
Interesting.
But then there's the secondary auditory cortex.
Okay.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Right.
Because this area is actually helping distinguish between languages that the dog knows and languages they don't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they're actually like processing it on a much deeper level than I think we would,
It really is amazing.
initially think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we can kind of relate to that, right? Like if we hear a foreign language, absolutely. You can tell someone's talking, but you have no idea what they're saying.
Exactly.
Just like
That's a great analogy.
a bunch of sounds to us.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I found really interesting was that they found older dogs showed even stronger differences in brain activity between the familiar and unfamiliar languages.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does that mean like the older your dog gets, the better they are at like understanding different languages or?
It's possible. It
Yeah.
really could just be a matter of exposure.
Right.
The longer they've been listening to human speech,
Right.
the better they might become at kind of fine-tuning
Yeah.
those neural pathways
Yeah.
that help them distinguish those subtle sounds.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
That's like us.
it's like,
The more you hear different languages,
Yeah.
the easier it gets to tell them apart.
exactly. It's like learning an instrument or anything else. The more you do it, the better you get. Yeah. So, I mean, does this mean that like dogs like actually understand what we're saying, or is it more like they're just
Whoa.
recognizing the sounds?
They might not be understanding every word
Right.
in the same way that we do,
Yeah.
but dogs are really good at picking up on, much more than just those words.
Right.
They're paying attention to our tone of voice,
A body language.
our facial expressions, all of those nonverbal cues that we give off.
Exactly.
And
All of that helps them understand what we mean.
Yeah, even if they don't know the exact definition of every word you're saying,
Right.
they're still getting like the general, message.
Absolutely.
So this is pretty amazing. I mean, I think it kind of changes how we think about, talking to our dogs.
And it could even change the way that we approach training.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine teaching your dog commands in multiple languages.
Right.
It'd be a really fun way to kind of, challenge their brains, keep them on their toes.
Yeah, and maybe even strengthen that bond that you have.
Totally. So, I mean, I guess to kind of, sum it all up, I mean, dogs have a really surprisingly sophisticated way of processing language.
They really do.
And they're paying attention to way more than we probably realize.
Absolutely. And I think it makes you wonder, if they can learn to distinguish between languages, what other cognitive abilities they have that we just haven't even uncovered yet.
That's a great question. And I think something for all of us to think about as we go about, interacting with our dogs. So, yeah, maybe after this deep dive, you'll watch your dog a little closer and see if you notice any of these linguistic skills in action. But until next time, keep diving deep.
Definitely.
All right, take care.
Seems good.